For all those who remember these guys, they are easily one of the biggest deathcore band ever, but I guess the question is, what's their story? How did it get so big? That's what we're gonna find out today. So my friend, as usual, take a cup of coffee, cigarette, french fries, whatever you feel like as we explore the Whitechapel MySpace era. Really quick, before starting the video, if you didn't join our Discord yet, what are you waiting for? It's free! And we have an amazing community. You can share your music, you can talk about life, whatever. It's a great place to be. Also, we have a live show on Twitch, and we're streaming twice a week on Wednesday and Fridays. And believe it or not, we already hit Twitch affiliate, which means we can already offer custom emotes and many other perks. It's an amazing journey. I love every part of it. Alright, let's start the video. So the band was formed in 2006 in Knoxville, Tennessee, and their very first lineup was Phil Bozeman, Ben Savage, Alex Wade, Gabe Cripps, Derek Martin, and Brendan Cagle, who unfortunately, as you probably know, had a motorcycle accident later on, which left him paralyzed on one arm, obviously meaning that he couldn't play guitar anymore. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before being in Whitechapel, Alex was actually in another band called Red Winter Dying. While Phil and Ben were actually in another band called Psychotic Behavior. For what it's worth, I think Psychotic Behavior was sick. Like, it was kind of new metal, and of course it was very different from what Whitechapel would be, but I don't know. I thought it was worth mentioning. Talking about Whitechapel, the name of the band was actually inspired by Jack the Ripper, very famous serial killer, which, for those who don't know, committed most of his murders in a district called Whitechapel. During the very first year Whitechapel was created, the guys were already writing, creating songs, and they actually released an amazing demo. Pretty sick, right? I mean, for a demo, it was very well constructed, Phil's vocals were sick, the drum parts, come on, I mean, it was amazing. You could tell they were heavily influenced by death metal, you know, going extreme, experimenting with different parts. It was great. And yes, of course, already in 2006, the live performances were unreal. Oof, man. Such a sick band, you know? I remember when I was talking with Zach from Elysia, he was telling me about, you know, the very first shows he saw from Whitechapel, and apparently the crowd was already going crazy for them. I think it's fair to say that Whitechapel were amazing since the beginning. And talking about being amazing, believe it or not, in 2007, they got signed already with just their demo by a very cool record label called Siege of Amida, a record label from the UK. And they even had another deal with Candlelight Record from North America. Oh my god. Is this better? Never know what to do with my hair, and the irony is that I was a barber for 7 years. Alright, I think we're good. Sorry about that. Okay, so then they changed their drummer, but while on the topic, I won't mention every drummer they had because they went through a lot during the years. But for now, I think it's worth mentioning that at the time, it was Kevin Lane. Very talented drummer, very unique style, and I know a lot of people like what he did, so yeah. Which brings us to July 2007, when the band released their first full-length album called The Somatic Defilement. What an album, man. I mean, so underrated. It's not an album that people talk about that much, but to be honest, I think it still holds up. Like, even if it would be released today, I think people would like it. Phil's vocals are gnarly, the songwriting is very interesting, a lot of good parts. Well, they're only good parts. There's not even one bad song. It's brutal, with slam parts, breakdowns, cool blasts. I mean, what do you want more? If you never had the chance to listen to it, press pause, go listen to it, and come back. It's that good. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Brendan had to quit the band because of the accident. But I think it's worth mentioning that even today, Phil and, you know, the original members are still in contact with him, they still talk to him, he's still a buddy, and they'll always consider him as a founder member and very important part of the band, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, on a more positive note, at least they found a really good replacement. Zach Householder, very talented, very cool guy. They then released an official live performance video for the song Prosthetic Fluid Asphyxiation. And talking about live performance, Awesome, right? I mean, the band was already blowing up with their very first album. There was such a big hype around them. So much so that in October 2007, they officially signed to Metal Blade Records. It was a very big deal. Metal Blade was the label you wanted at the time. They had bands like Cannibal Corpse, As I Lay Dying, Honored, Job for Cowboy, and so many sick bands. And, fun fact, I did find an interview in which they kind of explain how they got signed.
How did you get like Metal Blade to notice you guys? Like how did that happen?
Oh God. Well, we just kind of.
First CD actually ended up on Jim Graham's desk somehow. Like our first CD was actually Siege of Amida Records. It's from UK, and we got it nice and pressed, so it looked all professional and nice. And I guess it ended up on Metal Blade's doorstep, and they were just into it.
Just couldn't deny it.
So yeah, it feels like they're not sure how they got signed, but at least they did it. But yeah, they kept doing their thing, it was amazing, and then they went in the studio again to record their second album. Unfortunately, I didn't find any studio updates, but anyway, in July 2008, the band released their famous album called Is Exile. Oof, man. I mean, what an album. Easily in the top 3 most iconic deathcore records of all time, right? Remember when I said that their first album could still be released today and it would be good? I think This Is Exile, even if it would be released today, would be received as one of the best deathcore released of all time. It's just that good. As much as I love the first record, it really feels like in this album they found their sound, their personality as a band, if you will. You can really feel the emotion, the anger, the suffering through the songs. It's very powerful. And talking about powerful, it gives you this dark energy, this feeling that you can almost conquer anything. Am I the only one feeling like that? Let me know in the comments, I guess. In terms of lyrics and general concept of the album, the band went from talking about murder to talk about more anti-religious stuff, which was, of course, I'm sure you remember, the main topic of every deathcore bands out there. I mean, a good example of that would be The Cleansing by Suicide Silence or the Doom EP by Job for a Cowboy. I also think it's worth mentioning that Phil Bozeman actually plays guitar and he did some cool riffs on the album. I think I completely forgot to mention that in his previous band, he was playing guitar. As you probably already know, at that time, Whitechapel had 3 guitar players instead of the usual 2. And I did find a very interesting interview in which Alex explained how it was in terms of like songwriting and process in general.
Most people probably know it by now, but you guys have 3 guitars. When it comes to writing, is it more complicated with 3 guitars because you got 3 ideas going at each other, or is it better for y'all?
I think it makes it easier, honestly. I mean, hell, our guitar player even plays guitar too, so he throws in ideas. I mean, our singer plays guitar too, So he, throws in ideas every now and then and stuff like that. So, we have a lot of different ideas and stuff coming in for riffs and stuff, whereas, if we just had 2 guitar players, period, it would just be a lack of riffs and ideas and stuff. So I think it definitely works to our advantage.
Pretty cool, right? And of course, the album was very well received, selling over 5,900 copies and reaching number 118 on the Billboard 200. It was impressive. They then released their official, iconic video for the song This Is Exile. And another one for the song Possessions. Fun fact, the song This Is Exile was actually featured in the very popular game called Rock Band. And of course, obviously, the band at the time was blowing up on MySpace. It was crazy. I 100% remember. It was wild. I mean, Whitechapel was right at the top of Deathcore in the first wave. I think it's very fair to say that they were kind of pioneers in Deathcore music, even if they were not part of the very first band per se. They still took Deathcore and bring it to another level. At least that's what I believe. And yes, did you really think I would talk about 2008 without showing you the amazing, outstanding live performances? Dear God, I mean, incredible, right? They were on fire. Then, in 2009, it was more of a touring year. I mean, writing their album, touring with the biggest bands, riding their wave of popularity, if you will. Kind of living the dream, basically. And yeah, talking about living the dream, apparently, during that time, they were touring with Cannibal Corpse and Behemoth, like 2, pillars in metal music. And I found an interview in which Phil explained that it was a dream come true for him and for the band.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Cannibal Corpse is what got me started. First time I ever saw him was in the Ace Ventura movie, and that's what got me into metal.
That was awesome.
And that's pretty much how it started from there. And then about 15, 16, 17, whatever, how many years it has been since I saw that, and up until now I tour with them, and it's just never would have expected that. And Behemoth's the same way. I mean, they've been doing this for a while. They've been doing it since the mid 90s. Yeah, I mean, they're both influential bands. They both have their own style, but they both play just really extreme metal, and that's what that's what we're trying to portray as a band too. It's just really extreme metal.
Cool, right? I mean, when you start a band, the ultimate dream, I would say, is to tour with your idols, with the people you were looking up to, and Whitechapel was exactly doing that. Very early in their career. As I'm doing the video, I really feel like Whitechapel did all the right steps, they were there at the right time, everything was perfect, you know? And talking about perfect, in 2009, the live performance were gnarly. Holy shit, man. I mean, it was unreal. Just pure talent right there. At some point in 2009, they were the band of the week.
Now, if Justin Timberlake asked you to do guest vocals on his CD, would you do it?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would definitely do that. Just to say that I, was on Justin Timberlake's CD, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the end of the year when they went back in the studio. And yes, this time, I found some amazing studio updates.
We're here in the sunny state of Florida in Sanford City, recording at Audio Hammer Studios with Jason Sukoff.
Gonna be using my Meinl cymbal setup, 18-inch Bison's Brilliant China.
The main guitar that we're using to track the album is the new ESP Horizon NT7.
These are the words of the suffering lords. Welcome to hell!
Dude, did you say welcome to hell?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Welcome to hell! It breaks me these eyes!
Awesome, right? I mean, everybody was so excited, I remember. After This Is Exile, it was like the band, it was so freaking sick. I mean, imagine the pressure for the band to write the album following This Is Exile and all the success. Must have been crazy. But, to be fair, they seem pretty confident about it. I found an interview in which they explained that to them it was their best album and they were very happy about the upcoming tours and stuff.
I think it's the best album we've done yet, so we're also touring with Job for a Cowboy in April, and we're doing Warped Tour this summer, so it should be killer. Yep.
Is this going to be your first Warped Tour? You done it before?
Yep, first Warped Tour, yep.
Any expectations?
Tons of people every day.
Which brings us to June 2010, when the band officially released their brand new album called A New Era of Corruption.
Welcome to hell!
Super sick album. I mean, very technical, and I think it was an evolution for them musically. If I'm being honest, I do prefer their previous album, but as you probably already know, I'm not a reference at all. I always prefer the EPs, demos, and stuff like that. But yeah, objectively, the album was very good. It still holds up, Phil vocals are sick, songwriting is sick, they were experimenting new directions and sounds. In terms of lyric and concept, it was the first album that wasn't like a specific theme. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to say it wasn't a concept album. It was still very interesting and also way more personal, if you will. For example, the song Animus, which was a song about Phil's mother. I really feel like heaviness can mean many things, you know? When lyrics are very dark and emotional, and you can feel the pain and the suffering, it's differently. It might be one of the reasons why the band felt like it was the heaviest album at the time. I actually found a very interesting interview in which Phil explains the meaning and the concept of the album.
Basically, you know, I mean, as the world, you know, gets older, you know, it just seems like everything just gets worse and stuff, you know, I mean, like, well, I mean, in America anyway, I mean, like, you know, that's where we're from and that's what we base most of our stuff off of. And it's just, you know, we're in, you know, we've entered a new era, you know, and like, it just seems like everything's just fucked up in the system right now. Nothing is like, you know, it seems like legit anymore. I mean, everything's advancing with technology. And, you know, things are getting easier, and it's just not as, you know, money is not made as easy as it is, you know, today, it's not made as easy as it was back then, you know, and it's just all kinds of bullshit going on.
Pretty intense, right? I think Phil is very interesting as a person with, you know, another kind of vision and perspective, which might be one of the reasons why he's so successful. But yeah, let's go back to the album. It did very well, selling over 10,700 copies in its first week, and it actually scored number 42 on the Billboard 200. It was wild. The band was on fire. Every step was a big milestone. The hype was still building up more and more. I mean, from what I remember, not many people was hating on them. I think the general consensus was Whitechapel rips, you know? Now, are you ready for the 2010 live performances? Let's go. Oh my god. I mean, it's just unreal. I mean, Phil's vocals. Of course, the band was always killing it, but Phil, I mean, look up any Whitechapel performances and Phil's vocals are always flawless, I'm telling you. In the summer 2010, they completely killed it during the Vans Warped Tour. I did find a pretty sick video that Metal Blade released at the time promoting the band.
Whitechapel, and here we are today at the not-so-sunny Ventura, California Warped Tour. We have our stuff set up, and we try to warm up, play a little bit, get stretched out.
Just buy our new CD.
But now, I guess the question would be, what happens next?
Yo, what's up guys, it's Philly Bo, and today we're going to be doing a Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a while.
One nation!
I guess it's gonna be for part 2. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Take 1 second of your time and leave a comment. It means the world to me. I love reading your stories or what you remember about those days. As I mentioned many times and even earlier in my video, if you didn't join our Discord, please feel free to do so. We also have our live show on Twitch every Wednesday and Friday. All the infos are in our Discord. And on that note, I'm gonna stop talking. I'll see you in the next one.